Hello, my name is Zamani, and I'm the co-founder of a company called Bandle Technology. And this is my testimonial with regards to business coaching that I received at the beginning of the year 2020 before lockdown. So when I was informed that Manya would be my business coach, I wasn't sure what to expect because I've never done business coaching before. So I actually went about doing my own thorough research online about business coaching, what is it about, and also about Manya specifically with regards to getting any intel that can help me understand how she does what she does and just to at least have a sense of what to expect out of the business coaching, which was only scheduled for a month. But as part of my research, I did conclude that I need to have a sense of what I want to achieve out of this business coaching, for myself at least. And I decided to focus on aspects that I believed were inhibiting my ability to perform at my fullest potential with regards to the company I'm currently building with my co-founder. And I decided against focusing on actually asking Manya to help me address technical or operational aspects of my company. And it looks like that was the best thing I ever did for myself because about a week or a month after the coaching ended, lockdown occurred, which actually prohibited trading unless you're trading in essential items, which is food and health. And in that environment, a lot of things had to be rethought and a lot of things had to change completely. But when it came to the business coaching, the main two aspects that I asked Manya to at least guide me in actually addressing was the main biggest one was my difficulty in forgiving myself when I make bad judgments or just mistakes when it comes to building the business, because I generally have a difficult time in forgiving myself. And in fact, sometimes I would actually take a whole year, if not longer, just to forgive myself, to be like, look, dude, you made a mistake, dust yourself off and learn from it and move on. I would tend to wallow and beat myself up because I guess I've got such high expectations of myself. And I find it very difficult to forgive myself when I perform at a far more lower level than what I expect out of myself. But I can forgive other people much more easily, I understand. But when it came to myself, I was very harsh on myself. That was the main one. And then the second aspect was my difficulty in drawing a line when people ask perhaps favors or assistance from me in a way that that I would like to be assisted with, because I would like to think that all of us once in a while can use some assistance from a friend, whether it be in terms of your time, your resources. But I mean, we all stumble at some point in our lives, and I thought by extending myself to help those people that I'm acquainted with or friends, I mean, I would like to think it will be reciprocated at a point in future when I'm in need of that assistance. But I find myself that when I do that, it ends up in this training me where I actually don't gain much from it. Instead, I actually feel like I'm losing from it internally in terms of my energy, but I don't gain much from it as much as I would think perhaps I would have. And because perhaps people may start taking advantage of it, that may be another point of looking at it. But those were the main two issues that I wanted to focus on, finding a better way of how I handle those particular issues, because I felt very strongly that they were really limiting my potential when it comes to leading the company that I'm actually a co-founder in. And Manya was able to guide me with certain approaches that could equip me with getting much more better at those two things. And it didn't happen overnight. It was a continuous thing. With every single context session, I made a bit more better progress. It wasn't easy, I must say. I mean, it required a lot of conscious effort on my part. And it's much more difficult at the beginning because you don't see any tangible results. So you can end up just throwing in the towel and being like, this is just hairy-fairy stuff. But slowly but surely I started feeling a bit of better progress. But I felt the effects of the coaching much more when it came to when lockdown actually started. Because when lockdown started, the first week was very difficult. because I was filled with a lot of despair and fear. And that was because I had no clue about what the future holds, whether lockdown is going to get much more serious and long, and whether the issue that caused the lockdown is it going to be a very serious matter with a much more higher mortality rate, and whether people's behaviors are going to change to the extent that my business will not have a market anymore. And those were the biggest things that were biggest issues at the back of my mind. But after the first week, I started to come to grips with the reality that we find ourselves in, because the whole world was engulfed in this very unfortunate global challenge, which is a health crisis. And after the first week of lockdown, I started just channeling my mind to focus on gratitude, on simple things. Simple things, whether it be the fact that I'm alive, the fact that I'm healthy, the fact that I stay in a safe place, the fact that I've got things like the smartphone that I'm currently using to record this, or the laptop that I use for work, unlimited Wi-Fi, like the friends that I've got that mean a lot to me, and the family members as well. I started to focus on that consciously, just to feel some kind of good way about myself. And it was also very difficult, but I had to do it every single day for like a solid 2 weeks, just consciously focusing on it and slowly getting to feel a bit better about myself. And that actually culminated in perhaps influencing my point of view about this new reality that we're finding ourselves in. And it changed my frame of thought to have this particular conviction that this new condition we find ourselves in actually poses one of the greatest opportunities for young companies like I'm actually leading. And this would be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. For as long as I'm healthy and safe, I will be able to capitalize on it accordingly to the best of my ability, even if it means I have to build my company afresh, focusing on a new problem should the market or people feel it that they don't need my product that I was offering before lockdown started. And that was all due to the practices that I got and the skill sets that I was able to refine during my coaching sessions with Manya. And that is why I actually would think about the fact that how fortunate I was to have the coaching sessions before lockdown started, and how grateful I am the fact that I focus on the intangible things that appear to be always the things that you need to call upon to confront the challenges that one needs to address in the realities of running a company, let alone just being a human being, finding yourself in a new, unexpected challenge around the corner. As if I had focused on operational issues, those operational issues would have been those operational issues and solutions would have been actually useless during lockdown and now, because now we find ourselves in a completely new environment. And that's what made me get a sense of what the true value of coaching is, that they are perhaps your biggest cheerleader and hopefully you're one of the most honest critics that can allow you to sharpen the aspects that you're going to need to call upon when you deal with the many different challenges that are continuously changing. And rather than focusing on the operational issues, focusing on those intangibles that you can draw upon when the need arises is perhaps the biggest value that I found from coaching. And that's why now, where I'm at in terms of my business, we find ourselves having to capitalize on many opportunities that have presented themselves. To my surprise, some of these opportunities are directly related to what we've been doing before lockdown, where I was like, at the beginning of lockdown, even willing to let go of what my business was doing, because I was able to reflect during coaching on why am I doing what am I doing, such that I'm not too attached to what medium of a business allows me to achieve those objectives, which is actually to create things of service, of value for people that actually matter to them. So now I find myself being able to capitalize on those reflection exercises and thought processes that I was able to refine during coaching, that now we're capitalizing and participating in many opportunities that actually are going to allow our company to grow in leaps and bounds, to hopefully not only add value in South Africa itself, but across the world through our own experiences that were built upon the fundamental core reason for existence, which is to build products and services that are valued and that actually serve people, because that's what wakes me up every single day, and that's what allows me to endure the difficulties that are part and parcel of just being a human being, let alone when you're building a company. And the coaching has been actually priceless in that extent. I mean, I'm not saying it's completely all plain sailing, but at least I've got that arsenal in my tool to draw upon, and that can actually allow me to hopefully become the best version of myself and be able to build the company that I've always envisioned that I want to be a co-founder of. So thanks a lot, Manya, and I do appreciate all your lessons learned during the coaching sessions.